What's going on, everybody? This Afro Think Tank. I got a question for Republicans, white male Christian evangelical Republicans. Who do you guys like? That's what I want to know. Who do you guys like? Because you guys seem to don't like, and by don't like, you guys seem to be afraid of or have a phobia of certain people. Right? Like you guys are afraid of, right? And have a phobia of and envy of black people. You guys are afraid of and have envy for and are intimidated by the black woman. I'm talking specifically to the white Christian male who thinks he is supposed to be in charge and running everything. You guys don't like brown Indians, right? You guys don't like them at all, just because they're like Canada. This is America. You got Canada, right? You got Africans. You got Indians. Indians are the Canadians. Africans are the Americans. You know, it's freaking Canada, right? Y'all don't like them because of, y'all have reasons. There are reasons why people don't like them, but y'all don't like them for those reasons and other reasons. And they're brown, right? And they don't eat beef. Right? You guys don't like Asian people. You see them, every Asian is a constant enemy. All Asians are enemies. Everything, especially those Chinese. Y'all guys have a phobia of Chinese people. Now keep in mind, I'm just talking to that Christian evangelical man. You guys have problems with gay people, as if gay people is a new thing, like the gay aliens came and invaded America and the world, and gayness is something new. They ain't been around since the dawn of time. You guys are afraid and have a phobia of gay people, right? So you don't like Asian people. You don't like African people. I always separate Indian people from Asians because you got Indians and you got the Asians. You hate Arabs, right? You don't even acknowledge Native Americans unless you're pretending to be one, so you can have a little flavor in your vanilla, right? Like, who do you like? It seems like the only people that Christian, straight, evangelical men like are other Christian, straight, evangelical men. Y'all don't seem to like y'all women. You guys are at constant war with your women. You know what the funny thing is? The conservative, this big ass conservative versus liberal battle, right, is really white men versus white women. Conservatism, Republicans, they need to be racist to conquer white supremacy, that right there. Most of that is white male, white European male thinking, right? And, that's the common thought of most white barbarians, Anglo-Saxon Europeans, savages, right? Then you got the liberals, which represent the white woman, right? The white woman who's always been a third-class citizen to her white man. You heard I said third class, because for white man, you got God, the white man, then the white woman. All right. And so you guys have been fighting a proxy war with your white men via politics and then dragging everybody else along with it. That's why if you look at the liberal side, the super liberal side, the super left is filled with a bunch of white women, right? Bunch of white women that hate white men, right? Then you got the white men that they hate white women. And then, it rubs off on everything else, right? Because the red pill in the manosphere was originally just white men complaining about their white women, right? And then everybody else get dragged in it. So you got the manosphere and red pill, and then black people start taking on traits of the white manosphere and shit like that. And then you got a bunch of black people who hate black women because white men hate white women, so they kumbaya over hating women, right? Then you got the liberals. Liberal white women hate their white men, always talk about how bad their white men is. And then they get the black women to be on their side somehow, to hate the black man because the white woman hate the goddamn white man. So it's like women versus men. Liberal progressiveness versus conservative. Stubborn, conservative, white Anglo-Saxon barbarian men versus white liberal and progressive women that want to do shit and change shit and move shit. right? In society, politically, right? And that's what it seems like all this shit it is, right? But, you white folks, at the end of the day, it's really a gender war that manifests itself into politics and all other social freaking apparatuses that affect the entire world. You see what happens when y'all sneeze? Fucking world gets sick. There's a problem, right? But I'm just wondering, like if you guys hate, like, do you guys ever like each other? Where's the party where the white man and the white woman unify? Where's the love and compassion and camaraderie with white people, white men and women? Maybe that's the relationship that needs to be fixed. Maybe that's the hole, right, in your hearts, that the white woman, the white man don't get along. Even though the white woman does enjoy some of the runoff of the white superiority, right? But she's still a second, third class citizen, right? And they enjoy amenities like being white tears that can kill anybody. That's a dangerous piece of equipment. That white tear, that's a weapon of mass destruction right there. Kill millions upon millions of people. But it's like, you guys just fighting this massive Anglo-Saxon barbarian gender war, and everybody else is suffering because of it. And this is your culture. This is what happened when the kings and the queens gave you white European peasants freedom. You just found other ways to fight each other. Bringing the whole world down with you. No, that's all I really wanted to say, wanted to ask. Just wondering, right? If you just continue to step back, you'll see all these things that we make complicated, it's not all that complicated. There's a lot of simple answers to a lot of these complicated ass questions, right? Anyway, you guys tell me what you guys think in the comment section. This is Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
Can some middle-aged man, so some white man about my age that's a right-wing conservative, or even worse, a Trumper, explain to me what's up with you guys? Why are you so hell-bent on targeting minority groups? What are you so upset about? I know DEI is a triggering acronym for you because it implies diversity, and I know you guys are triggered by diversity and are going out of your way to make people's lives from minority groups more difficult, including women. So what is it with you guys? What's up? Like, what are you so angry about? What is going on in your own lives that make you feel, or that make you want to target minority groups? There's a couple of things. I don't understand how that makes you feel better by doing that. But I just don't understand why you want to do that in the first place. Can someone please explain that to me?
You want to know why white people hate every single culture? It's for many reasons. It's not just because of one reason. And one of them is most cultures, like the Hispanics, the indigenous people, the Asians, they don't need money to be happy. Where white people need money to be happy all the time. White people don't like other cultures because it shows the shame inside them that they never really created anything in this world other than trauma. Trauma and drama. Drama. Because every culture, the Asians, the Hispanics, the indigenous people, all have done something to make this world what it is today. Not really whites. I mean, look at the cars we have now in America. White people cars, because they got the blueprint from the indigenous people and they got rid of them. So now we got all the cars now that all look the same now. It's all generic white people shit. It's like I have a Jeep right now. And I could easily get a Kia and it's cheaper and it looks better than the Jeep. Like, they all look the same. That's why I think it's hilarious how people want to get, like, Range Rovers and all this other bullshit just to look cool outside. And it's just like, all the fucking cars look the same. Because white people. It's literally white people written all over it. Let's make all the cars look the same because we got the blueprint now. Anyone's going to buy it now. And which is true. Everyone keeps buying these bullshit cars. By the way, the indigenous people made 10 times better because otherwise we'd be driving box cars with no blinkers on them. The Asian community amped up even more. So it's just like, what have white people ever do? And that's why they hate other cultures, because they know deep down they just never did anything. The other cultures come over here and they strut and they do better than them. That's why they want to deport them all the time, because they have that shame of the being useless and worthless. Without the Asians, without the indigenous people, without the Hispanics, it'd be looking like the Family Odd Parents if everything looks gray. I mean, it already kind of looks like that. I mean, look at like McDonald's now. It's all gray. There's no color to it anymore. Everything's fucking gray. We're living in the Family Odd Parents of the gray. Everything's gray. It's just, everyone's just as the same, looks the same. It's white people culture type shit. It's just generic. So it's a lot of things that why they don't like other cultures. Because our cultures don't need wealth to be happy. Most cultures created most of everything in this world. That's why the world's running the way it is today. This is what white people just did. Money, buy, sell. That's it. Nothing unique about white people. And I'm white. And I can admit it. That's why they have no true friendships, the white community. That's why they have the hierarchy. And they always like to stab each other. I mean, every culture does it, but it's mostly the white people, because they created this. They want to be a superior. They think they're alpha or something, whatever the fucking label they love to give themselves. And a lot of people don't fall for their shit, knowing that they're not all alpha, they're this or that. They're just human being that thinks money and status is the way to go. So they don't have true friendships. It's always talking shit about each other. Even the females, they're always doing something behind each other's backs. And in my opinion, I think mostly the lonely epidemic is it's in the white community more than any other culture. That's just my opinion. You mostly see white people talk about it more than anybody else. So I don't. Just saying, white people don't have culture or community.
Man, I tell you what, nothing makes racist white people more pissed off than me, a white person, trying to educate about racism and trying to educate about what white privilege is and all these things. And it's so funny because these same people will argue with me till they are blue in the face about how they're not racist and we don't live in a racist institution and black and brown people have it so easy and racism doesn't exist anymore. But then they will turn around and say the most racist, ignorant, vile shit you've ever heard in your life. The disconnect is amazing. And this is why I make content like this, because it's so important. Because we do live in a racist institution, and we are all raised in racism as white people. This is simply a fact. And the crazy part about it is every one of us knows this. Even the ones who will sit there and fight with me to the death about it and act like it doesn't exist. Y'all know white people are racist. Y'all know about the casual racism, the casual microaggressions that we are raised in, no matter where we live in this United States of America. And this is why I will never stop. I will never stop trying to educate as a white person about racism and how we need to learn. We need to evolve. We need to do better. It's almost as if they feel like admitting to a racist institution or admitting to racism makes them this evil, terrible person. And so they would rather double down than to grow and be a good person. And that's so bad, because all that says to me is that you have a small mind and a cowardly soul. And I wish better for you than that, truly, because everything in your life will get better when you stop being so ignorant.
You know what I'm having a hard time understanding right now is all the white male rage. It just seems a little undeserving, right? I mean, and don't get me wrong, I love white men. My dad was one, my brother's one, lots of friends. But like women's rage, I understand that. We were oppressed for centuries. Black people's rage, I understand that, also oppressed for centuries. But how can you be so angry when you've been at the top of the food chain pretty much forever? Get some help.
I hate white people. And I know you may look at me and be like, bitch, are you not Caucasian? And the caucasity that's coming out of you is just so palpable. I can't even feel my own heartbeat. Yes. Do I still continue to hate white people? Yes. Like, there are so many of them. So there's some that you're going to find that you agree with that are on the same level and page as you when it comes to human rights, LGBTQ rights, just rights in general, just rights to doing what the fuck you want to do, which is what this whole country was built upon, but whatever, we're past that point. But there's just so many other white people that just lean into fascism at the very core of it, and they don't give a shit. They'll just do it because it's easy. It's easy to fall into the mainstream and be like, I'm Caucasian, I'm a Republican. It's harder to be like, I'm Caucasian, I'm a leftist. That doesn't actually like capitalism. Because most people that describe themselves as leftists are liberals, which I guess there's a big difference between, though I really don't see the difference, to be honest, looking from the outside in. You want to claim that there's a difference because you want there to be some complete differential way to categorize yourselves, which just goes further into the fact that you're perpetuating white supremacy. Like, white supremacy relies on the binary. Like, you need to unpack some shit. You need to unpack some shit. And I'm sorry, let me just put the woke septum piercing up for a little while, but seriously, my dry ass lips are trying to tell you something important. Unpack your own shit, and I promise you your life is gonna be so much better.
No. Definitely not self-hating. White guy. I love myself. And, me, I just don't like our history and who we are and what we've done. Definitely don't like that. And I'm not gonna pretend it was all for the greater good and every bad thing we do is for the greater good. I'm not pretending. Sorry, I don't want to do that. Pretend with you, bro. Sorry, I don't want to play pretend with you. It kind of reminds me of how men pretend that they're women and other people just pretend and go along with it. No, we're not pretending anymore, dude. We're saying the truth. We're living in the truth. Get used to it, bro. God bless. Much love. Peace. Save the trees.
We don't want to be classified as white. Let's just be honest about that. That's what all the arguments against systemic racism are about. Telling people that they should judge based on character rather than skin color, that we shouldn't use DEI principles in hiring practices. We don't want to be classified as white. And we don't want to be classified as white because we know what being white means. We know what whiteness has done. And we know that race has always been a factor that's worked in our benefit. And now that it's no longer working in our benefit in the same way, now that we can't drown out the voices of the people that are telling us we're not quite as popular as we thought we were, we don't want to be white anymore. But if we're willing to admit that, then we have a chance at dismantling white supremacy culture. If we don't, then white is all we'll ever be.
If you don't need any more proof that me and white men don't belong together, I'm not attracted to them and all of them think I'm a dude. All you white men think I have a penis. I don't know why. Is it because I'm, what? Am I more of a man than you, even though I was born with a vagina? By the way, I have 3 kids. Definitely, I can prove. I have a birth certificate. You want to see my birth certificate? It's stupid.
Can we talk about how miserable white people are for a second? Like, you know that white people are miserable, right? Like, have you ever looked a white person in the eye, even if they're like a big mental health person? You just look deep down and you're like, brother, you are not happy at all. And truly, it breaks my heart. But one reason, I think, one of the main reasons that a lot of white people, a lot of us are really unhappy and miserable is because we lack internal congruence. Now, congruence is a concept we learned early in grad school to help people heal. And congruence is basically internal alignment. Values and actions are on the same page, right? Like, we accept every part of ourselves. We feel peace, security in who we are, congruence. And no matter how hard you try, you can never find internal congruence if you're not congruent with the world around you. If you're not understanding what's real and seeing reality and affirming what's true. So like white people who deny patriarchy and capitalism's negative effect and oppression of the world and genocide that's happening around the world, like that's incongruent with reality. That is going to have an effect on us internally. Because to deny what's happening in real time, we have to deny certain parts of us, certain emotions, certain thoughts that come up. And the more we run for that, the more incongruent and separate we feel, the more dissonance that comes, the more miserable we are. And a lot of times we're not actually dealing with our own pain and our own reality because we're all suffering under capitalism and white supremacy. Like, it affects us different ways in intersectionality, but like, it affects us white people too. You don't think a stormtrooper in the fucking Star Wars movies hates his life? You don't think he hates being bossed around all the time? You don't think poor white people living in the Empire, like in a city walls, like in a Game of Thrones, like you don't think that they're miserable under it, even though they're not miserable the most? To be congruent inside, to not be miserable anymore, it takes accepting the realities of the world, seeing how those toxic systems affect us, and then moving to actually be congruent. Because deep down, humanity has goodness at its center. So yeah, white people, we're miserable because we're not congruent, because we're denying the realities of the world, and thus denying ourselves.
Belief isn't simply a thing for fat times and bright days, I think. What is belief? What is faith if you don't continue in it after failure? Anyone can believe in someone or something that always succeeds, but failure. Not failure. That is a hard thing to believe in, certainly and truly. Difficult enough to have value, I think.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.